Beyond the Looking Glass, a photographic journey through Gryphonia. After immersing myself in the history of the Draconians and their downfall, which in turn paved the way for the emergence of modern-day Gryphoforms, my curiosity extended to their origins. What intriguing evolutionary paths could have led to the dragons, drakes, wyverns, worms, and sea serpents? This propelled me to delve even deeper into the ancient annals of Gryphonia, where I uncovered the forebears of these majestic creatures, long-lost kin and other denizens of epochs past that once shared their realm. Furthermore, an interesting revelation emerged regarding the elder Dr. Volkov himself. It now seems highly likely that he devoted a significant portion of his life to the realm of role-playing games. Traditionally, paleontologists abstain from assigning colloquial names to long-extinct species, adhering steadfastly to their more formal scientific designations. However, when faced with the awe-inspiring existence of actual dragons, Dr. Volkov appeared unable to resist the allure, doubly blessing their nomenclature. Though regrettably, he didn't extend this practice to the creatures that preceded these magnificent beings. Therefore, for the duration of this chapter, I am compelled to adhere to their formal names. Approximately 530 million years ago, during the Gryphonian equivalent of the Cambrian period, Tentaculoflexus manipodus emerged as the earliest common ancestor of Gryphonia's land vertebrates. Its long, gripping tail tentacle, topped with a small fin, provided remarkable versatility. It served as an anchor to maintain its position in tidal waters and as a propulsion tool for swimming. The presence of a cluster of tentacles near its mouth marked an unusual feeding strategy for a fish. These tentacles facilitated the capture and ingestion of soft-bodied prey, indicating a predatory lifestyle that revolved around engulfing smaller organisms whole. The multiple pectoral and dorsal fins added to its agility and stability, allowing for efficient maneuvering in the water. Tentaculoflexus manipodus sported a bony skeleton, which demonstrated the gradual evolution of vertebrates towards more robust internal structures. Notably, while possessing this bony framework, it had not yet developed jawbones. Another distinct feature of Tentaculoflexus manipodus was the termination point of its spine, positioned just after the third set of pectorals, highlighting it as an early stage in the evolution of vertebrates. Crackenthus giganteus existed during Gryphonia's equivalent of the late Ordovician period, around 450 million years ago. By this stage, the descendants of Tentaculoflexus manipodus had undergone diversification, branching into new animal classes. Crackenthus serves as a prime illustration of the early Molluciforms class. Notably, this new class of seafaring animal featured fully formed jaws adorned with teeth, even though much of their skeletal structure appeared to have been minimized. Internally, their composition was mainly skull, with a rib cage present to safeguard their internal organs. Externally, they possessed a mixture of fins, at least one set of feeding tentacles, and a rear-facing tentacle. Crackenthus exhibited the appearance of a colossal floating head. It boasted two sets of feeding tentacles, one positioned below the mouth and another on either side, alongside multiple sets of membranous fins. The predator's arsenal included forward-facing eyes and sharp teeth. A distinctive long tail tentacle extended from its rear. As the largest aquatic entity of its era, Crackenthus played a pivotal role in the oceans and perhaps served as a driving force behind the eventual colonization of the land. During this same period, another distinct lineage emerged, the ray-finned fish, constituting a second class that descended from Manipodus. These fish shed their ancestral tentacles and fully embraced their tail fins, endowing them with the swiftness and agility necessary to elude their distant molluciform relatives. Although their bony skeletons terminated at their rear pectoral fins, their erstwhile rear tentacles now boasted cartilaginous structures, providing stable anchor points for stronger muscles while retaining their essential flexibility. One classic representative of this class was Flagellum caudalongo, christened after its elongated, whip-like tail. These fish were inherently capable of outpacing most predators, a trait that also allowed them to hunt down small molluciforms and even smaller members within their own class. Their remarkable success is evident in the plethora of fossil remains they left behind, and their descendants continue to traverse the oceans of contemporary Gryphonia. Indeed, the ray-finned fish currently dominate as the principal constituents of sea-bound vertebrate life. The once formidable mollusiforms, by contrast, have been relegated to a secondary role. Around 415 million years ago, the ray-finned fish initiated a remarkable diversification, assuming control over the vast expanses of the oceans. Amidst this evolutionary surge, many species opted for the reinforcement of fully calcified bones. However, in the case of the Hexaphinia acuticata, it clung to its cartilaginous tail structure. This ancient predator bears a resemblance to sharks, yet it boasts additional dorsal and pectoral fins. Since then, its descendants have remained relatively unchanged. Evidently, evolution acknowledges a successful strategy when it encounters one. One notable difference was its size. In its bid to contend with the diminishing population of Crackanthus giganteus, many of them grew to astonishing proportions, comparable to the ancient megalodon of Earth's history. It is conceivable that Hexaphinia possessed the ability for indeterminate growth, implying that its size continued expanding as it aged. This characteristic allowed successful individuals to progressively increase in size. Nonetheless, shifts in the environment and the competition posed by various waves of new oceanic inhabitants eventually led to the scaling down of its descendants to more manageable dimensions. As the Hexaphinia acuticata adhered to its cartilaginous tails, and the ray-finned fish progressively calcified their skeletons, another fascinating lineage of fish emerged that took a bold step by introducing entirely new bones into their framework. The lobe-finned fish, characterized by their pectoral fins positioned at the extremities of rudimentary limbs, set in motion the eventual emergence of hexapodal land vertebrates that would eventually come to dominate Gryphonia's continents. Among the lobe-finned fish, one notable example is the Hexipterus ichthys, which had long been considered extinct. However, nearly a century ago, a fortunate fisherman happened to catch a living specimen, transforming the six-finned coelacanth into one of the oldest surviving species on Gryphonia. This stroke of luck has provided researchers with more insights into Hexipterus than any of its former contemporaries. These fish tend to hover close to the ocean floor, leisurely drifting until they encounter food. An intriguing aspect is their mode of reproduction, involving internal fertilization, a characteristic that they may have shared with their relatives who eventually transitioned to terrestrial life. Around what would have corresponded with the Devonian period, approximately 400 million years ago, the first six-finned lungfish emerged onto land, marking a pivotal moment in Gryphonia's evolutionary history. These early lungfish might have sought refuge on land to evade predators or ventured forth in search of new food sources. It's quite plausible that their diet comprised small crustaceans and shellfish, potentially hidden in tide pools or just beneath the sand in shallow waters. One such example, Hexaphina dipnoi, featured tendrils beneath its mouth. While these may evoke memories of its tentacled ancestors, they functioned more like the barbels found on a catfish. Given that their eyes were not yet well suited for terrestrial life, the lungfish likely relied on these structures to locate prey in shallow waters where their vision was inadequate. While modern lungfish are adapted to freshwater environments, whether this adaptation also applied to their ancient counterparts remains uncertain. Regardless of historical accuracy, depictions of lungfish on the beach serve to underscore the momentous occasion when vertebrates first made their transition from aquatic habitats to land. The first amphibians emerged in the fossil record roughly 370 million years ago, giving rise to the hexapodiform superclass, which encompasses all hexapodal land vertebrates. However, I'm bypassing these early amphibians and heading straight to everyone's favorite, the Postura absurdus. This peculiar creature is best known for its unique posture. Its hind legs were longer than its front and middle pairs, causing it to walk with its tail and hindquarters permanently positioned above its head. The reason behind this peculiar stance remains a mystery. It's possible that this posture made it seem larger to potential predators. One thing that is clear is that the Postura absurdus holds a special place in the hearts of many, particularly children. Gryphonian natural history museums proudly display plush toys of this curious creature in their gift shops. In fact, my niece has collected a colorful array of 5 plush Postura toys, all procured from the MRI's online store, for those who didn't have the privilege of a personal tour of the facility. While I contemplated adding a sixth plush toy to her collection during my visit to the gift shop, I realized my sister might not be thrilled with the idea of contributing to her daughter's burgeoning hoarding tendencies. The vertebrate invasion of land remained unfinished as long as their life cycles remained intertwined with water. Roughly 260 million years ago, the development of waterproof eggs and more resilient scaly skin played a crucial role in severing their ties to their aquatic origins. These six-legged reptiles, the pioneers of the Archohexamorpha clade, faced fierce competition from arthropods who had already established their presence in this new realm. Paleontologists have unearthed fossils alongside egg clutches, leading to the hypothesis that these reptiles might have guarded their offspring, at least until hatching, protecting them from potential predators. Legatus maternus, a representative of this period, retained some traits from its ancestor, Postura absurdus, evident in its slightly larger hind legs, though not nearly to the same extent. However, the middle pair of legs appeared to have diminished in size, potentially evolving for functions other than locomotion. It's plausible that these limbs served as claspers during mating, or even for transporting eggs to safer locations. Given the numerous threats these primitive reptiles faced, even saving a single egg from nest raiders would have put them at a considerable advantage. The maternal guardians of Legatus maternus must have performed their roles effectively, as by 300 million years ago, their descendants had finally supplanted their old adversaries, the arthropods, and emerged as apex predators in their own right. Prytocorex robustus, with its barrel chest and 6 robust legs, must have been an awe-inspiring sight. Even after ignoring the row of spikes running down their spines from head to tail, they easily matched the height of a horse, but were significantly longer thanks to their muscular tails. It remains uncertain whether the descendants of Legatus cared for their offspring to the same degree as their predecessors, or if they offered any care at all. Their closest living relatives, the Hexacrotylus ambulans, bury their eggs in decaying leaf litter to maintain warmth, and while they do not rear their hatchlings, they vigilantly defend the territory where they construct their nests. The advent of Prytocorex and the newly established Hexasauriformes clade rapidly conquered the world, expanding into every available niche and laying the foundation for all that was yet to unfold.